I did send it to you, but I know us. So I've almost been done talking this right now, but you want to just delay the meeting. This is ridiculous.
Not delay the meeting. If we're to receive a report, I'd like to receive the report. I don't want to be told about it. I'd like to receive the report.
The report is on its way, but I'm going to read it to the public. This is a report that I gave over to the Senate Budget Committee. I want to thank the Senate Budget Committee for allowing me the opportunity to come here today to present the single most important issue for the city of Estell Manor, which is in Atlantic County. The issue I want to discuss is the same one that I presented to the Senate Budget Committee for a number of years, which is private funding. The state owns 20,800 acres of land in our rural county. As we are 55 square miles away, 20,800 acres represents more than 61% of the total land mass in Estell Manor. While there are a number of towns in the state of New Jersey in which the state owns more than 60% of those towns are currently receiving $15 an acre. However, Estell Manor is still only receiving $7.50 an acre. We are the only municipality in the whole state of New Jersey in which we are receiving only one half of the funding formula up to what the other towns are receiving. This is constitutionally very wrong, and the state is pushing us closer and closer to insolvency. Last year, pilot funding was supposed to return.
Wait, this is the report you read a couple months ago, isn't it?
No, it's not, Mr. Bill. This is a new one.
Exactly the same fact.
Mr. Bill, can you please stop interrupting?
We've done this before. Why do we have to do it twice?
No, I did not. You're interrupting. We're delaying the meeting. We have 1 hour left.
What? How many times are you going to read this
Mr.
report?
Bill, you're out of order. Last year, private funding was supposed to have returned to its original funding formula, that being $20 an acre, if the municipality is 60% or more owned by the state of New Jersey. But as you know, because of COVID-19 and the loss of revenue that the state did not realize, once again, our private funding formula was still frozen from the 2010 figures from a previous administration. What I'm about to say to you is rather very frightening for our city and for the reality that the state has essentially done to the city of Estell Manor. And please follow closely the form in which the state owns 20,800 acres at $20 an acre. The amount of money that should be in the city's offer is a realized value of $416,000. However, the city of Estell Manor is only receiving less than $124,000. That is a net loss of $292,000 annually every year. And for the last 8 years, since the state made the largest land acquisition in its history by purchasing land from farmers, that is a total loss of $2,326,000. And I'm going to say that again. That is a total loss of $2,326,000. Because of this loss of revenue, our city has been struggling to survive. We have gone full-time positions in public work, and the part-time as well as the full-time city clerk, down to a very part-time position, and because of the loss of this revenue. Keep in mind that we are capped at a 2% cap, in which we are very limited as to how we can raise taxes in our town to pay for services. Essentially, what Estell Manor has been forced to do is cut services for our residents, but oh, by the way, we have been raising taxes because of the state is basically cheating us without compensation. Our only means of public safety in our community is a volunteer fire company. Because of our inability to raise money, we have a fire company who has outdated equipment and is in very serious need of major renovations to the building. And because of their need for updated equipment, this poses a very serious public safety issue in my city. I hope that the Senate Budget Committee understands what I'm saying, because public safety in my town is without doubt the same issue that I have to be responsible to my residents for. And while we are not being compensated for land that the state owns, our city is still responsible for maintaining the roadways, cutting the grass, trimming the trees, picking up trash, and clearing the snow, all for no compensation whatsoever. And to really throw insult to injury, we were promised full restoration of funding last year, and in October, after we had already adopted our budget, find out in the 11th hour that the state is not going to give us that money, which throws our city into a tailspin again. And we are operating at a loss. So being that the state went and borrowed more than $4 billion because of the loss of revenue, Pilot Town needs to be reimbursed that money that we were owed. We should not have to absorb the financial pitfalls that we are experiencing. All these towns, in which the majority of the towns are owned by the state for the purposes of preserving the drinking water that other people have had the pleasure to drink at our expense. I have said this before and I'm going to repeat it again. The majority party that is in power is the very same party who is always championing green initiative ideas and implementation. So what is the reward for pilot funded payments to our annually short claims? A drastic amount of money each year? Why is it that the state of New Jersey is fiscal winners and losers and made the communities who are preserving all the state landmass to be the losers, and inevitably these towns are going to fall? We cannot survive many more years to come. I asked the Senate Budget Committee, and I really want to respond. Is this fair? Is this fair, especially out of all the towns? We are the ones that still claim the greatest amount of money. Please explain how this is fair, and why you're explaining, please explain how the city of Manor is going to survive. I'm demanding that the Senate Budget Committee take action, and being that your party is the party that is in power, who sponsors these green initiatives, I demand that my city, as well as the other private firms, is compensated for that just amount that is due. The irony of all of this is we're talking about less than $12 million annually in statewide to preserve open space for eternity. And the state will have an annual budget of more than $40 billion a year, so there's just no way that the state is going to feel the effects of preserving open space and compensating the host communities of all. I urge the Senate Committee, please do the right thing and restore priority and explain to the governor that this is very wrong and borders on piracy. There is actually a land-use term some of you who are attorneys will understand. That term is called the taking. And that is essentially what the state has done. They have taken our land, and yet they are not going to compensate us for it. Thank you for your time.
So to be clear, this wasn't a pilot funding report, this was a letter that you wrote.
There was a report that I issued to the Senate Budget Committee on pilot funding. And I had gotten the recommendation from the people that I've been working with, and I was once again asked to be the presenter to fight for pilot funding. The irony of this is...
Okay, we need to move on, sir. You read your letter.
Make a motion.
Let me move on.
I did it this year.
Second,
Mr. Governor, I'm saying something good. For the
you
first
read
time
your
ever...
letter.
Yeah, you made your point, Mr. Governor.
I make a motion to move on to the correspondence.
It doesn't work that way.
Second.
You're out of order. Could you please explain to them they're out of order? I had another attorney tell me this today. They're out of order by doing this. The irony of this all is such. For the first time ever that I've done this to the Senate Budget Committee, it appears to me that they have finally got their attention, and they are going to be making some adjustments to try to compensate us for this.
Who told you that?
Paul
What is the
Starr.
name? Pardon?
Paul
Who?
Starr is the Senate Chairman of the Budget Committee.
Please spell that last name.
So, I don't answer to you anymore. Okay?
Please
I
spell
know
that
that.
last name.
Look it up. Paul Starr.
It's S-A-R-O-O.
Thank you.
Before you try to contradict them, you know something, I recommend that you don't contact them in the bill, because you're probably going to piss the guy off, like you do everybody
Well,
else.
no, I feel compelled to call him and apologize to him for your critique. If I were him, if I were the person on the other side of the table receiving that letter, I would put it at the very bottom of my pocket, demanding,
That is you.
demanding.
That is you.
How can we survive?
Let's keep on badgering you more and more, because you know what.
Can we move on to
I
correspondence,
moved on
please?
correspondence. I put a motion out.
You don't need that motion, you're moving to the next item. We have correspondence. We have the Historical Society, we have a letter. I spoke to our attorney about this earlier. To the best of my recollection, I believe that there is in fact actually something in the lease that says that there is no fundraising, the council is to give them the approval to fundraise. I think we have the right to know how much money they're taking that day, and what exactly will they be doing with that money.
Mayor.
I make a motion that we grant permission to the Historic Society to use the building for fundraising and for things.
Second.
Mr. Rocky, you want to pick up on the conversation? Am I out of order for asking?
Yes, you are. I mean, I don't know about Mr. Lafferty, but they've done things in the past, and all of a sudden you want this year for them to answer to you?
So,
Are we the leaseholders? Yes or no?
Can I be heard for a moment? I have not reviewed the lease, but I'm accepting the representation that there is a request. And the fact that there is a request for consent by city council would bear out that there is a request. So, and city council has the right to impose a condition on that consent. I'm not suggesting that you should or have to, but you have a right, if you want to know how much money was raised in this fundraising, you have a right to that information.
So can we vote on it then?
You can choose not to, but that's up to you guys.
So,
Motion,
my recommendation would be that we really should know how much.
There's a motion on the table, right?
I heard a motion,
Yeah, and there's a second.
and there was a second.
Okay, now we're gonna have a discussion. Now we're gonna motion and second. And my discussion will be is I think council should have the right to know how much money is raised that day and just exactly what they're going to do with the money. It's in the lease because there is no fundraising, and if there is, they have to get permission from the city. So if we get the permission, I think it's incumbent upon us to know how much money do they take and what are they doing. Simple as that.
So, Mayor, is that in the form of a request to amend the motion?
I would say that yes, that would be an amendment to the request. I think it's incumbent upon the city council. We have the right to should know how much money is generated from it. What is done with that money? Good. We know that we have given congratulations to the historical grant. There's just that. I perfectly fine with that. I just simply would like to.
I'll have my motion to accommodate that request.
Excuse me?
My motion is to accommodate the request to know what they raised at the conclusion of the, that they would report us on the fundraising.
Thank you.
Does the second accept that?
Who was the second?
You,
No.
so who was the second?
Ms. L?
Who was the second?
I thought Mr. Dill made the motion and Ms. Owen seconded.
That's what I thought.
Maybe
I-
wrong, but
Ms. Owen is indicating she does not accept the amendment.
Correct.
So the current motion is on the floor to give them the right to use the building.
And they don't have the right to tell us how much money they're taking in and what they're gonna do, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Not under the current motion.
This is voodoo politics at its worst, I'm sorry. We should know what they're doing with the money and how much money is being taken in. And the meeting is not open to the public. It's a handout.
Trying to help you. That's okay.
Maybe, Mr. Code wants to say something as to he has no problem with reporting what they make. Maybe he has.
Maybe very possibly he could-
Get in.
It would be out of order to accommodate them. We can't.
And he can say that, when the meeting is open to the public. So, we'll move in a second. We're gonna do roll call on this one here.
Dill,
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Ms. Owen,
Yes.
Ms. Sparks,
Yes.
Chairman Dudley.
Because the council is saying that we should not know how much money is being taken in or what's gonna be done with the money, I have to vote no. That is being irresponsible. So the motion passes. Next, we have a letter of support for Hamilton Township for the Lake Jonathan Dam. I don't see any reason why we would not support that. Probably a good chunk of residents all through town do right to Center Lane Drainage. So I'd like to make the necessary motion to support the letter from Hamilton Township if there's separate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the election ballot box is now open in City Hall. We have a letter of correspondence on that. So I guess that kind of just simply speaks for itself. We have no ordinances. Moving down to the sale of equipment of Gov Deals. We, in fact, actually have a list. And we have, how do I just misplace that list? We have the bucket truck for $3,500. We have the brick for $1,600. We have the plow for $2,500. We have the street sweeper for a very price of $400. And we have some chainsaw parts for $5.
I make a motion that we list that stuff on Gov Deals and keep it with that pricing as reserved.
I
Second.
This has to be done by roll call.
Bill,
Yes?
Olson,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Randall.
Yes. Next, we have, 36 is done. We have 53, compensation for acting city clerk for primary election day. Somebody make a necessary motion.
How much we gonna pay him? Same 400 we paid him for general election day?
You have that information right in front of you.
That's correct, it's the same.
But he
Thank
has
you.
the
I make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Bill,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Randall.
Yes. And to read the budget by title, I believe we've already done that.
The next two are.
And number 55, we've already done. Next, we have number 56, to approve the contract with RCC Environmental Professionals for submitting the grant. A good chunk of that money is going to be reimbursable from the HDSRF application. I think that we are at the end of the road now. This is the final draw to be able to get this landfill project completed. LRS has been doing all of the applications since day one. This is the last final thing, to the best of our knowledge, that needs to be done, in which then we can get this thing signed off. And then we are in a position to take the next appropriate step. And I know that someone is in fact interested to do some type of development on it for a warehouse. So we need to definitely start the process to get this completed. I would like to make the necessary motion to approve the contract with RCC.
For submitting the grant,
For submitting the grant. Is there a second?
I'll second it just for the purpose of kind of discussion. Didn't they say they would do this as a courtesy?
No, they didn't say that at all.
Does anyone else remember it that way?
But they were gonna do all of this work pro bono, as a courtesy.
The grant. Work on a grant. Does anyone else remember it that way?
I don't remember that part. I remember him saying that he was going to look in to see if there's any more eligible grants available. That's the part I remember. I'm not saying that I'm correct either.
Mr. Dillon, you actually are correct, because what he indicated was exactly that. And I don't have the printout. Mr. Moore just gave me the one page, which was the final analysis of what it's going to be. But if my memory serves me right, according to the email that I have on my phone, it was somewhere to the tune of about $67,000 that was recoverable in the HDSRF fund. So take 89,000, which is the total, and that figure has been shaved down quite a bit from what his original proposal was, because he figured some ways of how we would be able to go about this. So if we have 89 in round numbers, if we have a $90,000 contract, and $69 or $67,000 is recoverable money, we're doing rather very well with this year. And this is supposedly going to be the final straw, the Pineland straw. sign off on this. We've gone way too far, so we'll just simply finalize this here. Mr. Moore, if we do approve this, we do have the monies in place. Do you have the certification, the availability of these funds?
No, not officially, and I won't consult with our auditor for sure. I was planning on taking it out of the landfill ordinance, reserve money that we've had, and where we've been taking it out. And just so you know, council, I did not prepare these resolutions. I was going to ask Mr. Lafferty to do so, because these are professional resolutions that I don't have the proper wording for. I just didn't know how far we were going to go with this tonight about it. So this is just to prepare us. I can certify the smaller amount of the grant. We can take care of that.
Well, Mr. Moore, we currently have somewhere very close to $900,000 in that account.
Well, yes.
So,
That's
what would be difficult to certify if we have available funds or not?
where we take it from. I'm certifying it.
That's the only place we've had been taking it from since day one.
It's just it's a large contract, and I usually like to double check on things.
We've never at any time taken any of the money from anywhere other than the landfill.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
Even when they purchased that property, that was still taken from the landfill account, the adjacent land that, Mr. Muroff owned, 26 acres. I would recommend that we should move forward and get this thing over with, so that way there, we could take the next appropriate step to put a rateable on the property. It would be an approved site to be able to do something like that. It would be a clean rateable, and there would be no environmental impact. How does council feel? I mean, there is a motion and there is a second. Is there any further discussion on it? I'm sorry, Mr. Olson?
It's $2,750 just for the application, and then another $96,925 for closing the entire site. Is that it?
Mr. Olson, I kind of remember a $89,000 complete package from start to finish, with the application being included as well.
I'm looking at an email from that Mr. Guy sent out on April 30th.
I'm running down to my,
So, shouldn't we be able to have the funds certified before we vote on this resolution?
well, if this is going to be taken from our landfill account, we currently have very close to $900,000 in that account. So it's a rather very simple certification. Mr. Moore can do that like now if he wants.
I can say that for the reserve for landfill closure and post-closure as of the end of 2019, $74,810.11. And we also have an ordinance, July 3rd, 1991 is when this was first done. And the balance in there is $561,298.
What are you doing? Eat that first.
For a grand total of, how much?
Well, for a grand total of probably 650,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So we have enough money to cover it.
Yeah, enough money to do the contract, yes.
The only motion before us now is the money for the grant application, correct?
It's to authorize a professional services contract with RCC Environmental Professionals for the HDSRF application in the amount of $2,750.
Thank you.
Randy, for some reason, I have this one proposal here. And this one here says 87,524.
I have Mr. Guy's April 30th email, and he has $87,524 attached to that as well.
So that's what we are approving the contract for, is 87,524. That's the total.
Well, in his email, he says the application would be for approximately $96,925. So I'm not sure which number he's proposing.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Well, what he has here on February 28th letter that I believe I sent to everyone, where we were to sign off if we approved it, the reference is 87,524, but I see what you're trying to say because it does say 96 something in the email.
Resolution 56, Resolution 56 is for the grant application only. And it's $2,500, $2,700 some odd dollars as included in the packet.
$2,750 is correct.
Thank you. That's what Resolution 57, we voted 56, did I miss the vote?
No.
So that's what we're considering right now, is whether or not to pay $27.50 to them to make a grant application. My understanding.
Do we have to approve those tonight?
No.
Are we gonna vote it?
I see where council has a point. One says one and one says another, so the question becomes, which one is it? I don't understand why this is not more clear to us, but
The email says approximately 96,000, but his actual contract is saying 87,000, so that's what I would go by for now.
I can tell council that what we have done in the past is we have approved, and in which whatever monies we did put out to get done, we were reimbursed back from the state. So he's still gonna make the application, and we're gonna, most likely, he's got, my recollection is there's $67,000 that's recoverable money that we're gonna get back from the state. This
is becoming more confusing the more that we talk about it. The motion is for Resolution 56, which is a grant application, as included on the agenda, not anything else. Are we going to vote that?
There's a motion and there's a second to approve resolution number 56.
Okay, we're gonna vote it?
Very sad that Mr. Day is not here tonight to clarify this a little bit further, but once again, guys, I'm trying to explain to you that what we have done over the years is we do in fact make the application for whatever work has to be done, and the money is reimbursed to the city. And what we are doing now is we're just simply going to make the application to see if we're going to get the grant. There's still going to be some monies that we have to pay. This is not a fully recoverable amount of money. We're going to be reimbursed the lion's share of it, but there's still some monies that we do have to take out of our pocket.
Well, actually, what Mr. Dye says in his email is that $37,261 for ecological evaluation and the surveying of $13,599 could be eligible for HDSRF grant funding.
What about the other amount? Randy, where am I incorrect at? I have 3 pages here of a printout that Doug just gave me, and one of them shows 87,524. Another one has it itemized as to all these different things of what we're going for.
We're talking about his
which in
proposal.
fact the total of the amount, 87,524.
That's his proposal of February 28th, 2021, but his email of April 30th references $96,925. That's what Mr. Olson is referencing.
So just to play devil's advocate here, if the state does not reimburse that fund, do we just let the landfill lay in limbo, and then we're never gonna be able to do anything?
What about the motion that's on the floor? Are we gonna vote the motion that's on the floor?
We're in discussion, Mr. Bilge.
No, you're talking about something that's nothing to do with the motion on the floor. The motion on the floor is to fund a grant application.
Jesus. I can't believe you're such an angry man. What makes life so different than angry?
I'm trying to observe decorum and maintain order. We have
trying
a
to
motion on the
disrupt.
floor to approve $2,750 to make a grant application. That's all. Are we going to vote that?
I'm asking a question. So if the state does say that we aren't gonna be reimbursed the total amount of monies of what we're thinking that we're gonna get, does that mean that we stop this project at this point? Irregardless, we have to do it one way or another. And I think everybody in this town knows if there's one person that does not like spending money, it's me. We have to finish this project one way or another.
Well,
Are we
Mayor,
gonna
I
vote this?
disagree with that.
Are we gonna vote this?
may I suggest that you vote on the grant application fees and then move on to the next issue?
And
Thank
that
you.
amount of money again is 2,000 what?